The final section that we're going to take a look at is supporting music learning in lower secondary school. This includes the idea of the possibility of teachers hindering as well as helping in the support of learning music. What we're going to look at here is why there is less success in teaching music in the lower secondary school classroom, and if that trend is able to be reversed. And if it is able to be reversed, how? So how they sorted this out is by 5 categories of Western musicians, and I'd like us to take a look at that. Or my screen will not work, so bear with me for a moment. There we are. The 5 categories of Western musicians include the traditional Western musician, the Western non-musician, the alternative Western musician, the disengaged traditional Western musician, and the disengaged alternative Western musician. Now, just some ideas behind each of them. The traditional Western musician has a strong engagement with all music, good family support, successful experience of formal learning an instrument, and peer group status as a musician. Think of this as your all-state band student, if you will. The Western non-musician includes someone with strong engagement with music outside of school, but limited family support, limited instrumental skill, and the immediate peer group do not identify with school music, and his peer group recognition is considered a non-musician. Your alternative Western musician who has strong engagement with all music, family support, maybe self-taught, but does not see school music as relevant, but still maintains peer group status as a musician. The disengaged traditional Western musician, strong engagement with music outside of school, formally taught skills. Family support is variable. The large amount of their friends do not identify with school music, and the music curriculum is seen as a threat to musician status within the peer group. So basically, if it's not cool, they don't want to learn about it. The last one is the disengaged alternative Western musician, strong engagement with music outside of school, informally or self-taught instrumental skills, but limited family support. Peer group would share the counterculture of musical identity rather than supporting it, and their musician status is threatened by their lack of success. So think of this as your last chair clarinet player, for example, who is only there because mom and dad are making him. Some things to think about within the groups. Some interviews were conducted, and I will read just a couple of the quotes that were stated, one of which is my absolute favorite. The first one states, "It's my favorite lesson of the week, and well, I wish we could do a bit more of it, really." So think of this as your all-star kid who is very much engaged, your traditional Western musician. Whereas another example, it says, "Music at school is pants. It's just not any good. It's all duff music. I mean, who listens to this stuff?" Think of this as your kid who has no interest in being there. I personally am a fan of the statement, "Music at school is pants." I've never heard that one, but that's definitely something that I enjoyed getting to read. Now, the period of adolescence we're going to take a look at very briefly is characterized by the emergence of strong musical identities, often with a clear perception of boundaries between different musics, as young people use music to negotiate positions for themselves within their group identities. So, going back to the chart that we took a look at, that's where your 5 different kinds of Western musicians come in, depending on the characteristics that they show. So let's take a look again at some of the key questions. So what did we determine here when we say, is musical ability or love of music based on environment and outside influence, or is it based on personal drive? In my opinion, I think that an argument can be made on either side here, because case studies supported that the love of music can be very much driven by an individual, but it can also be driven by an environment and outside influence, as we showed with Derek Parvasini, where he had his own love of music because he knew how to play the keyboard, or the electric piano rather, very, very well, but did not necessarily have an idea of what he knew or what he didn't know until he established his relationship with Mr. Ockleford. Does the physical or mental state of a human being affect their ability to comprehend music? As we had taken a look at, that answer, I believe, would be no. There was one individual, like we had looked at in the first case study, he was blind, but still is a world-renowned pianist. Does the type of music being performed by you most frequently change which aspects of music you see as most important? Again, I am very much up for debate, seeing myself more on the classical side of things. If any of you are jazz musicians, I would very much love to hear what you see as one of the most important aspects of music. Finally, do music teachers help or hinder in the support of learning music? I'm all for the fact that they help. A lot of good teachers will instill the drive to their students to want to be better. It's not spoon-feeding them information until they're better. It's making them hungry for that deeper sense of knowledge, and in turn, they will get better because of that. So, to conclude, learning and teaching in music are shaped by processes outside of the individual, those being the influences of group membership, performance expectations and practices, and professional institutions and cultures. So, I'd love to know what we decided on. Is it possible for teachers to influence their students? When you're answering this, what are some of the factors that influence your decision? Finally, is there a way for teachers to influence their children, or were the findings of this chapter satisfactory to you in their rationale when they say it is not possible?